I watched, as I'm loath to do, but I do it anyway, I watched this filthy fucking Trump today at his 5 o'clock follies. It was 5 o'clock today because it was 7 o'clock yesterday because Biden was having a town hall. And there was no coronavirus bullshit session scheduled for yesterday until the orange asshole found out that Biden was holding a town hall. Ooh, get everybody together. We're going to have a presser at 7 o'clock yesterday. Well, today, since Biden isn't holding one of those town halls, the pig came out. The orange pig came out with his bullshit. And because I do a lot of research to do what I do here, may or may not be obvious, and I'm sure you do a lot of research, you and I know some essential truths about what's going on. So that when Trump comes out and tells his filthy lies, he always does this. He'll start with those fucking hand motions. That's how you know he's lying through his teeth. Or, when he does that, he's lying through his teeth. So he came out today with the lies and the bullshit and the happy talk, which, according to Trump, there are plenty of tests available. You're such a dumb fucker, you don't know where to go to get one, do you? Neither do I. There are plenty of ventilators available. It doesn't make any difference what the hospitals are saying. There are plenty of people available, plenty of gowns, plenty of gloves, plenty of face. What the fuck is everybody complaining about? Trump wants us all to believe. Even though, and this dumb pig son of a bitch is not aware that all day long on MSB and NBC and CNN, I don't know about the Fox sewer because I don't go there. I don't want to get polluted. I don't want to pick up the virus from watching those fuckers. But all day long on legitimate networks, cable networks, is story after story, live telecast, what do you call it? Actuality, a live event where somebody in an emergency room or is on a break, and if they have a break, which they usually don't, but they talk about what's going on and how they're freaked out, how they're overworked, how they're understaffed, how they don't have the equipment necessary. And then this pig son of a bitch comes out every day and says they're wrong, they're full of shit. And today when he came out, he said, I had such good conversations. Mike Pence did, and I did with all the governors, and all of them were just so nice to me. They were just so nice to me. So I tweeted today, that means some of these governors will get what they want because they got down and gave him a blowjob. It might have been a quick one, but a blowjob nonetheless, which is all this Trump fucker wants. On your knees, boys, on your knees. Girls too, on your knees. Now line up. You treat me real nice, and I might give you some of my coronavirus equipment. I hate this man. And then today I read a piece in the New York Times. This is what happens when a narcissist runs a crisis. Another piece by Jennifer Senior. She says that Trump's catastrophic performance has as much to do with psychology as ideology, for sure. So I'm going to share it with you. Since the early days of the Trump administration, an impassioned group of mental health professionals have warned the public about the president's cramped and disordered mind, a darkened attic of fluttering bats. Their assessments have been controversial. The American Psychiatric Association's Code of Ethics expressly forbids its members from diagnosing a public figure from afar. Enough is enough. As I've argued before, an in-person analysis of Donald Trump would not reveal any hidden depth. His internal sonar could barely fathom the bottom of a sink. And these are exceptional, urgent times. Back in October, George Conway III, the conservative lawyer and husband of Kellyanne Conway, wrote a long, devastating essay for The Atlantic, noting that Trump has all the hallmarks of narcissistic personality disorder. That disorder was dangerous enough during times of prosperity, jeopardizing the moral and institutional foundations of our country. But now we're in the midst of a global pandemic. The president's pathology is endangering not just institutions, but lives. Let's start with the basics. First, narcissistic personalities like Trump harbor skyscraping delusions about their own capabilities. They exaggerate their accomplishments, focus obsessively on projecting power, and wish desperately to win. Let me add something. Today, when he was describing C-130s, or these huge air transport airplanes that were ferrying stuff across the country from, I think, Washington and Oregon to New York, because New York desperately needs these ventilators. Trump got lost in that dreamy fucking thing he goes into. Oh, they're big planes. They're powerful planes. They're really big, powerful planes. Back to Jennifer Senior. They exaggerate their accomplishments, focus obsessively on projecting power, and wish desperately to win. What that means during this pandemic, Trump says we've got plenty of tests available when we don't. He declares that Google is building a comprehensive drive-through testing website when it isn't. He sends a Navy hospital ship to New York, and it proves little more than an excuse for a campaign commercial, arriving and sitting almost empty in the Hudson. A New York hospital executive calls it a joke. Second, the grandiosity of narcissistic personalities belies an extreme fragility. Their egos as delicate as foam. They live in terror of being upstaged. They're too thin-skinned to be told they're wrong. What that means during this pandemic. Narcissistic leaders never have, as Trump likes to say, the best people, although he claims it. They have a gallery of sycophants. With the exceptions of Drs. Anthony Fauci and Deborah Birx, Trump has surrounded himself with a Z team of dangerously inexperienced toadies and flunkies, the bargain bin rejects from Filene's basement, at a time when we require the brightest and most imaginative minds in the country. Faced with an historic public health crisis, Trump could have assembled a first-rate company of disaster preparedness experts. Instead, he gave the job to his son-in-law, a man-child of breathtaking vapidity. Faced with an historic economic crisis, Trump could have assembled a team of Nobel Prize-winning economists or previous Treasury secretaries. Instead, he talks to Larry Kudlow, a former CNBC television host. Meanwhile, Fauci and Birx measure every word they say like old-time apothecaries, hoping not to humiliate the narcissist, never humiliate a narcissist, while discreetly correcting his faults, hopes, and his lies. They are desperately attempting to create a safe space for our president when the president should be creating a safer nation for all of us. Why does the legitimate press continue to show up? There are fewer and fewer reporters showing up. I don't know what that's an indication of, but why go in and ask this son of a bitch questions knowing you're going to get a lie for an answer? Maybe that's the reason they ask the question, because they want to hear just how much of a bullshitter he can be. I try to stay as housebound as I can, but I have to leave occasionally to go get supplies. And I think I'm to the point now where I don't have to go anyplace for a couple of weeks. But I noticed that the locals where we're staying, for the most part, and I'm in the heart of Trump country. Oh, trust me, right in the fucking heart of Trump country. But I've noticed that they don't wear gloves. They don't wear face masks. They're not coughing into their arm. They're not using sanitizer, alcohol. They just walk around in the Piggly Wiggly or the McDonald's. As I drive, I don't go near fucking McDonald's, the slaughterhouses. But I see these people, Trump supporters, who have bought the bullshit. And I hate to say it, but maybe the upside is a lot of these fuckers will die. And then maybe the ones who are their family members who don't die will put two and two together, which I know is an impossibility for some of these redneck fuckers, but put two and two together and say, well, wait a minute. We did what Trump said. We did what Sean Hannity said. We did what Rush Limbaugh said. Why are we dead? Why is Mom and them dead? Why am I going to die? I did everything that they told me to do. Jesus Christ.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Kathy Malloy here. During this global crisis, take care of yourselves and your family. Maybe catch up on your Malloy cast. We are 100% Truth Seeker supported, as you know, and over the last year, we've become a lean, mean, two-person broadcasting machine. We've tightened our belts so Mike can keep screaming into the night because we are committed to this fight. We won't surrender the airwaves or our country to the flying monkey fascists as long as you're joining us around the campfire. And by that, I mean supporting this program by funding Resistance Radio on Patreon. Any amount helps keep it lit and keep the lights on in the Malloy home studio. Patron supporters will have exclusive access to a special patron-only weekly broadcast, which will likely include me and possibly Molly. We also have some nice thank you gifts like an exclusive patron Truth Seeker t-shirt. Visit MikeMalloy.com and click on the big patron link on the main page. You can't miss it, and we can't do it without you.